Todd Silverstein. I'm the CEO of Vizify. And Vizify's mission is really simple. We want to help you look great online. And the way that we do that is we take data from your social media, so your career positions from your LinkedIn, stuff that you may have on Facebook, and so on and so forth, and we actually weave it all together into a series of colorful, interactive infographics. And what you do with these is it's an effective tool to promote or present yourself online to the people looking you up.
Where did the idea for Vizify come from?
So the idea for Vizify, we heard Mark Zuckerberg's line about the amount of information on you is doubling every year, and we thought to ourselves, there's no way that could possibly be true. So my co-founders and I pulled some of our information. We pulled our LinkedIn, we pulled in our Foursquare check-ins, and we looked at it, and as it turned out, in our cases, it had more than doubled, which means we have probably a problem with the amount of stuff that we're doing online. But more seriously, we're just trying to make sense of it all. There was like career data in Facebook and more career data in LinkedIn. And so to try and get our heads around it, we began drawing essentially infographics of that data. And our aha moment was as we began sort of sharing these infographics with other people, they began asking for them too, because they were trying to accomplish things on the web and felt that their online representations were letting them down. And so these were people looking for work saying, I'd really like to include that in my resume. And so what started off as a way for us to understand the data actually became the aha that there's this incredible opportunity to do a better job in portraying this data in an easily digestible fashion to help people accomplish whatever it is they're trying to do.
One of the things that's most interesting to me about Vizify as a company is the fact that you guys went through 2 accelerator programs simultaneously. Maybe talk about that experience.
Yeah, you make me laugh with the question only because if we had known what it would have been like to go through 2 accelerators, I'm not sure that we would have done so. But we went through both the Portland Seed Fund, and part of it is because we are a Portland company and always knew we wanted to be one. And it was both a chance to support the community, but also we love what's happening here. But we also applied to Techstars. They had some national prominence, and again, one of the challenges is being not in the Valley or not in one of the bigger cities. It's getting better than it used to be here in Portland, but it can be harder to raise capital. And while we had personal networks and others, we were cognizant of the fact that everything that we could do to sort of help raise capital or give us just a little bit more of an edge would be worth pursuing. And so we ended up applying, and as it turned out, we got into sort of both simultaneously. And so what we didn't set out originally to do 2, but we realized that, or we thought we could manage doing both. And we made it work, though it was an incredibly challenging experience, and it helped that we were a 3-person founding team.
Maybe talk a little bit about your history prior to Vizify and how that led up to the company.
So prior to Vizify, I worked at a local success story called Monsoon Commerce, and both of my co-founders were there. So the 3 of us had worked together and always knew we wanted to do our next thing together. Monsoon had a private equity exit, and so from a timing standpoint, it was a great time to do that. Interestingly, they were more of a business-to-business play, and I think we had all been enamored. Every one of us at some point in the past had touched more consumer-centric business. My first startup was actually one that during the dot-com boom went all the way up and all the way down. It was an early mobile play that was consumer-facing, and so we talked early on when we were validating ideas about consumer-centric plays. The other thing is this just came out of our passion, as I had talked about with Zuckerberg and data. We're data geeks. We live our life online. I actually began my career in publishing, where image is a very important piece of both how the book jacket is put together and sold, though no one reads real books anymore, and then also in terms of which authors get picked up. And so it's something that personally I've been very passionate about for a long time, both visualization and self-presentation, and seeing that shift from real-world self-presentation to online self-presentation. It was an area that I think we're all very intrigued with and wanted to explore in more detail.
Cool. What advice do you have for that would-be entrepreneur?
I guess I probably would have 2 pieces of advice for someone who's ready to get going on their own startup. I think it's really important to think early on, and especially if you've got co-founders, to talk with them about what you want to be when you grow up. I've talked with a lot of people, and I think the assumption is always, oh, I go raise capital because that's the thing that you do. And there are consequences and outcomes that fall out of that. And it really depends if you want to have a lifestyle business, Is this something where you'd rather bootstrap it, or you want to take it in a certain kind of profitability? How much control do you want to give up? And so it's just very helpful not just to think about the business, but to think about what you would like the business to be when it grows up, because I think that can really helpfully guide you in which direction you want to take it and the sorts of things that you should be doing in the early days. The other thing, which is just a practical bit of advice, is not to skimp on the legal fees when you're setting up. And we knew this, and yet we still had legal stuff that we ended up having to sort out. And just having the right legal team can avoid a lot of trouble down the road, whether it's accounting trouble, when you're trying to bring in outside investors, just having everything neat and tidy. And so it's just a basic hygiene thing that even we should have known a little bit better on how we managed ours, and yet you forget about it in the excitement of getting the company started. So.